Call the meeting to order, please. We have a quorum tonight. Jeff Hockman won't be here. He's on his way back from England. No, I mean California. We just talk about England.
Sorry.
It's on my mind. He won't be here. John Schroep contacted me also. He's a new alternate, I guess you want to
Yeah,
call
we
it?
have two new alternates.
Lynn
Yep.
and Jeff. John.
John.
And he's also not available today. And Lynn wants to know some things, and we'll have to get together.
Okay.
She wants me to contact her about commitment issues or whatever it is, and we'll talk about it. I'll get back with her. So what we do have tonight on the agenda is three things, basically. The first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to get your comments, reaction, if you got any, if anybody called you, or anything about the presentation that we did 2 weeks ago. Because, and I want to know if we should have done it differently? What could we have done to make it better? What have people contacted you, anybody? So I just want to open it up. We don't take very long. I just want to open it up and see, what ideas you had, what you thought. So,
Well, personally, I thought it was really good.
okay,
And,
positive.
and even my wife thought it was pretty good. And she is an
Was she a
English
tough
major.
critic?
She's always, well, it's not critical, but she said, well, you should have done this and that. But no, it was to the point, and it was at the end of our presentation, the way I look at it, you truly understood what the issues were and what they weren't, and what we were going to talk about and what we weren't going to talk about. And so
That's
I
exactly
said,
what the
that's
goal
the
is.
best
That's exactly what we aim
presentation.
for.
And she went through. I said, well, it was. I thought it was good. I thought everybody, and the slides were very expertly done. I mean, it was good.
So what did she say we should have done? She said some things we should have. She's not on the committee, so.
Well, she didn't like the fact that I read off the stuff up there.
Oh,
I said,
okay.
well, you give the lecture next time. No, she was, but I think the people in the audience had the same reaction. They didn't say, oh, this is a waste of time.
Well, that's what Jeff, we had a conversation, I say he's not going to be here, but we had a conversation just 2 days ago, I guess it was, and he said the very same thing. He said, I was reading the room, and everybody was going like this, not this.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's a very positive thing. Not that we had a big crowd, maybe 30 people, whatever it was, but still.
good.
Okay.
Diverse group.
I felt the same from the trustees and members, of the township. I thought they accepted it and they understood, and I feel we did a good job of informing them.
I agree.
So,
Yeah, I agree, and the comments I did hear came from a lot of the staff that watched the presentation, and they were shocked when that Pacer rating went up there and all that red.
So that's why I wanted it to be the first thing they saw, yeah, right.
Yeah.
so I thought it was well done. Everyone who spoke did well, and the slides were exceptional.
And it was technical. It was like
Very.
someone went through a lot of rigmaroles, especially the Pacer stuff that John. It was very, very good. I mean, it was like, I don't know. It was. I don't know. It couldn't have been better. So anyway,
I think everybody walked out with a clear understanding, yes, it's a problem, and it's a money problem. Or it's we require focus from the Oakland County Road Commission to spend some dimes on getting our stuff done. Became very apparent.
I was surprised that we didn't get more questions from the board of trustees, from the trustees. But that's okay, I guess they just accepted it like you said, and that was the end of that, so I guess that was good.
The question that I did get from Mark, the trustee, and that's the information that Sue forwarded to you, is that when I ran the Pacer diagrams for Bloomfield Township, I toggled between a filter that says, is it federally funded or not, that gave me the main roads versus the neighborhood roads. And so when I did the same for Oakland County and toggled it off and said, okay, there's no federal funding for Oakland County, show me the roads, the chart that was in the presentation had cities and everything in it, which pay for their own roads. They get PA 51 money. So then I went back after the meeting that night and reran the charts, and that's what got sent out to you guys as a copy, that here's what the presentation was. Sue's got that up there now. That's what's in the presentation, and for whatever reason, it didn't leave out the cities and villages that did get money. And on the next slide, I created again. And again, you see plenty of red. There's some yellow in it, but the cities and villages have been omitted on that. So it's still a problem. But he brought up a good point. Like, okay, if it's only for townships, then why is Pontiac in here? It's like, I don't know. I turned the filter
Well,
off.
he made another good, I thought he made one point that he said that the condition of the roads in the cities and villages is no different.
It's
in the
just
city.
as bad, even though they get
Now, I don't know if
funding.
that's true. He said that.
It looked like it.
Well, I don't know if
Pictures.
it's true,
Yeah.
but if that is the case, then yeah, that's a good point. But I don't know if what he said was true. He just said it.
Well,
I didn't check it.
yeah, from the picture, it seems that way. But that's a worse problem. So if they're getting funding and the roads are just as bad, then how do they fix it? So, anyhow, so it's been updated.
Anybody else? We were just talking about the reaction to the presentation last week. Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, my only comment is that, and I understand this is for a topic for a follow-up of going forward, but I think that we still have to address at some point how we got here. And it's not just the age of the roads, you know, and I think at that point, it's where the township and other communities have to take some responsibility for making sure that we fix the root cause, which I still believe is massive construction of much bigger housing in our neighborhoods. And if we don't fix that, we're gonna spend a shitload of money fixing the roads, and in 10 years, they're gonna be right back where they are.
Okay.
And I accept that that's not part of the first report, but
Agreed.
I believe it's something, I feel strongly that it's something that we have to address at some point, the next time we
That's
present.
part, could be included in part of the solution, weight
Right,
limits.
right.
You know, or something, who knows? Right, okay. Anybody else have a comment? Okay, then the next thing that we need to, the next major thing we have to talk about is what's next? What do we do next? So I'm just gonna let you leave it open. What, you know, what do you think we should be doing next?
Well, we heard that we lost some money, some constitutional money. So, excuse me, when we get, when the appropriate people from the township learn what was lost and have a chance to go back and look at what that means, I'd like to hear from them.
Right.
To see, you know, because we lost money and then they gave money, well, what's the net? And so what's the consequence of the loss of the money? And also then hear from the road commission as to what are we getting? What potentially are we getting? It looked like $174
Yeah.
million over,
Call it the COVID cough.
Want
sorry.
some water? Oh, he's
Would
got
you
one.
I got
like a
cough drop,
A lozenge?
Yeah,
Here.
cough drop, there you
Okay,
go.
thank you very much.
That's not, that would be,
From Mike.
you, sir.
I call that the COVID cough.
that was
I-
discreet.
I hear
was trying to
that
be
going
discreet.
around.
Didn't
Thank-
work
I
very well.
recognize that cough.
Thank you. So,
You've diagnosed.
Yeah.
so I just had my annual physical, so I don't think I have COVID, but,
We're
so,
okay, we're good.
Well, you never know.
and so, in any case, that's what I think, but I want to hear from the township, and I'm not, you know, they've got to have time to do their analysis, but I think that would be helpful. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we could probably come in, bring our finance director in and talk about, I don't think our number that we're gonna lose out of constitutional is high as we first thought. It's like a changing, moving target. But I also would like to bring back in the road commission, Gary Petrovich, and tell us what they're seeing from Lansing and what some of their ideas that they're tossing around. So we can maybe get an update on what to expect.
and what's the process? You know, what are they, and they're still sorting it out, but how do they think it's gonna work? What's the timing? Those kinds of things.
Right.
Do
Go ahead.
they even have,
Mindy.
do they even have the
Hold
scale?
on. Mindy, you're
He's
next.
gone. I'm so, no, it's okay. In our packet, we had, one of the final pages was the depiction of the expense of the SADs and the famous or infamous arrow that said it's what, right, thank you for listening to me. She's gonna pull it up.
Yeah, right.
Why am I bringing that up? And I'm trying to answer your question. So, or kind of. if I may say, we have 5 sections. The village has 5 sections. The 5th section, which is under, I don't know what it's called officially, petition.
The green
But
section.
it's petition signing gathering, whatever that's
Yeah,
called.
right, going on
As
now.
we speak. That is going to happen again, right? We're gonna watch this occur again, which is going to be another item. And I don't know that we can, I don't know. I just wanted to cite that as a time-sensitive issue.
I think it is. I talked to Gary at Petrovich at the
Who-
road commission.
okay, yes.
About the green section,
Okay,
asking
well-
them, since they're getting this money, can they come to the table?
Right.
And so maybe that's something we bring them in and talk to them about.
It's real.
But I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
Let's say they come to the table and they do
Are
participate.
you gonna put me on the spot publicly in a meeting? No, go ahead.
I mean, the reaction from the others, you know,
No,
from the
you just say
yellow,
no
the
comment.
gold, the red and the blue.
That
oh,
would be gold.
Yes,
Yeah,
would
gold.
be, could you imagine? I mean, I
Well,
hope we can
well,
get some money, but
yeah.
how would the other residents who are stuck paying these high fees?
Rebate.
Just, it could, please, you follow me?
Yeah. Well, I don't think we can go back and, you know.
No, you can't,
You can't go backwards.
no.
But there's a whole lot of red.
So I,
So how does the township sort out which is the worst of the worst? And I assume that's.
Well, the road commission would. They're the ones who are tracking, but what I was getting at is because Mindy's in the gold section, so there's gold and yellow, they've been hit the hardest, the
We have.
highest with SADs. And then the red and the blue were last year, which were big numbers, not as big as what,
right, not as
what you're
as
having to
you see.
handle.
That's right.
But
We're-
let's say the
we're-
road commission now decides they have the money to participate in the final SAD, and it lowers the cost.
Yeah.
I would be red and blue, red in the face.
You can go back on those, because they were, when they built the basin under Lincoln Hills.
Yes.
For the, okay, there was an SAD for that, and we had to pay so many years. And then all of a sudden, like in the 3rd year, something changed, and all of a sudden, the money was there, and it was changed. It went, they either took it away or reduced, I don't remember exactly, but they did go back. So there was an SAD approved, and it went back.
Right, and you can pay it once, or you can pay over time.
Right.
So
Yeah.
there may be some options for consideration, is what I would say the answer.
So let's
So
not,
let's
let's
bring
not
them
just say
in
they
and talk
can't
to
do
Could we
it.
please?
Right.
Thank you for saying that,
Maybe we
by
can.
way of example.
Right.
I
Maybe we
think
bring them
that's
in
a
and talk to
healthy,
them.
good conversation.
I
It's the
agree.
right thing to do.
Yes,
It's the right
I
time to
agree.
do it.
Absolutely.
The thing that I thought, to follow up on what you've said, what you all said, is that we need to, again, look, of course, what the new budget's gonna show. We know that. So we need to have, our people from the treasurer come in. And then, there are other things that we talked about. What are the ramifications, is what I think, of other things? Not things that we're gonna recommend, but things that we've talked about that are on the table. For instance, changes the road commission to a county, is it a county department or something they want to change it to? And there's some talk about changing that. That's not maybe the one, but what would happen if they did that? I'd like to hear that. What are the ramifications if we decided to have a conversation about going from a township to a city? Okay, financially, legally, police and fire, EMS, finance, building and planning. I'd like to know that before we, as part of
I agree.
just so we have information. Not that we're gonna recommend those things, but I would like to know about that. So that's where I see us going, but that's just follow up on what you all said.
Right.
Getting the departments
I
to
think
come back
those
in.
are good questions to bring them in and let's talk to them.
Yeah, and then also the state,
Yeah,
have her come back in again, perhaps, or somebody else, I don't know.
okay, yep,
And,
recommend that.
and I don't know even if there's any federal money, get someone from, our representative from Congress, I don't know if there's any money there. If there's anything we can get.
Sure.
Dr. Sarah.
The only thing, to be fair to the Treasury Department, and I forgot his name already,
Jason?
Jason, we ought to say we want to know what would be the consequence of us moving from what we are as a township to a different entity.
Exactly right.
And so, but you should give him a warning before he comes in and
Oh,
then.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
sure,
that would
but
be
there's
good.
also, I want to talk to Chief Gallagher. I want to talk to fire department. Are there changes that could happen there? I don't know. I have no idea. And, so, yeah, that's all about,
Yeah.
all of that. All right, so what do we want to, oh, go, yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry, you triggered something. There was a discussion I think before the committee was even formed, about contacting our federal legislators to ask if there could be a tax deduction.
Yeah, they're working on that now. Haley Stevens' office is working on that.
Would
We
it
could get
be,
an update.
would it be appropriate to ask her or someone from her office?
Absolutely.
See, that's what I was talking about, getting someone like her to come in, to not only talk about that, but to talk about other avenues for other federal money.
Well, you're right, because we just had a meeting with a representative from Gary Stevens, Senator Gary Stevens' office, and we talked about the roads. And we also talked about getting some money for FEMA for some areas that may need some attention. So I agree, I think that would be a nice idea.
So it's broader than just look at the budget.
Right, because if you know where Club Drive is that runs by the Forest Lake Country Club?
Yes.
And the lakes that are there? Well, part of Club Drive is actually a dam. And some residents have expressed concern about the strength of that dam. And so we had a meeting and asked the representative from Gary Stevens' office to help us take a look at this for some funding in case we want to start rebuilding that, because if that were to give way, all those lakes would drain into the country club, and they would, like Stanford up in Midland.
I was gonna say, don't talk to the people of Midland.
Yeah, we'd have a similar situation.
So do we want to wait a certain amount of time to let the budget thing settle before we get someone to come in and talk about what do you want to do?
I'd like to start having conversations right now.
Okay.
I mean, why not? I mean, we can't do anything, but at least we can start conversations and get some ideas
I
of
agree.
what they're talking about.
But you could put Haley Stevens in while the budget director's
Yeah,
doing his math.
right,
I mean, he's got to analyze.
right.
Well, I'm sure, and some of the other things that we just talked about, ramifications of, and we could get them to come in too. So, well, how do we go about, can you help with that?
Yeah,
Or you
Sue, we'll
folks
reach
to
out
get that
to 'em.
scheduled like
Yes,
you did
we'll reach
the
out
first
to
time? Okay, well, that makes sense. All right.
Be good.
Okay, anything else? I mean, if you're at 15 minutes, we got through two items on the agenda already, you know? Any other ideas on next steps? Schedule the next presentation to the township, or is that way in the future? Way in the
Way.
future, okay.
We're not ready.
Okay,
Right.
all right.
And then I know it's a lot to ask, but, not a lot to ask, but I think we have to start talking about the deer issue too.
Well, that's the next item on the agenda.
Okay.
I want to get through this, wrap this up before we get there. So,
Okay.
But you know what, I think I would like, well, we have public comment, we always do that after everything. I don't know if you have anything that you wanted to talk about, but I thought maybe we divide it into two things. Now that we're finished with the road part of the agenda, if you have something that you had wanted to bring up, you need to come up and name and all that. Then we'll do the deer thing and get comment on that if we have, you know.
Recruit some people.
Just on the road
I don't
portion
have
of it.
anything to say about the deer.
Okay, so the road, go ahead.
My name is Clay Phillips, 247 North Williamsburg, Gold Section. Appreciate the opportunity to beat the crowd here this evening for the meeting.
If you're on Lassa Road waiting to get up here, it's crowded.
Yeah, Lasser was busy. Just a couple of things, and just taking some notes while you're talking. My recollection from the township meeting on next steps included analysis, and I think there were some post-meeting conversations. So I'm interested in, well, what does that mean? What kind of analysis? Who's going to do what? What is there a process? Is it independent? And then what questions are going to be addressed, and how is that going to get done, and when? So that's just like analysis of the big term. What and when? And how does that get you to a milestone, and what's next? More tactically, on the presentation, I just want to make a comment on the graphic, the reds and the yellows, and there was also a slide that had the two different analytical systems for the roads, and the terminologies weren't equal. So my point on the map, well, it doesn't matter what sequence so my point on the map, I'm Bloomfield Village, so I understand this is a township topic. Everything in the village looks red. But we know there was a significant section of Glengarry north of Bradway that was ripped up, completely rebuilt. I think it's state or federal expense 10, 15 years ago. It's a great road. There's nothing wrong with it. And some of the Indian Mountain roads are in pretty good shape. But just throughout the village, there were clearly some pretty rough, pretty nasty, like you can only go 10 miles an hour on them. And others were perfectly good. So just anecdotally, I look at that map and I say, that doesn't resonate with what I know is going on in the
But
village.
if you remember, in the introduction, and when we talked about that, we said that this map could be an older map, and I know I said it, that the information here is not exactly correct, because you wanted it that way, and that's why I did it. That, number one, some of the Bloomfield Village, right, those roads have been improved, and they're still red, because this is an older map. But also,
Well, how old is the map?
well, it could be up to 3 years old.
Okay, but
I know, the one you
Yeah,
said was
they're
over
trouble.
10.
15 years ago.
Got it, I get it.
And it's fine. So even if it was 3 years old, 3 years ago, a lot of the roads were crummy, and some of the roads were good. So that just triggers like, I don't believe the map.
Well, I will say that we had the list of SADs, and my subdivision was at the very top of that list. We did it 13 years ago, and our roads are really cruddy. And, you know, it's a technical term, but, I mean, they're really lousy. And so we're really disgusted that we paid a lot of money out of pocket. Not what the village is paying, but you know, we paid out of pocket. And 13 years later, we're back in the soup. And so I do not, I'm not challenging you at all, but I'm suggesting that our roads, I think that we're rad, and I think that's an accurate reflection of the
Sure.
status of my roads.
Good.
So I don't know, it's hard to, I know 13 years, but unfortunately, ours didn't last, or are not lasting 13 years.
What I'm presenting is an observation and an opinion.
Yeah,
Got it.
The
Yeah.
picture for the Bloomfield Village square mile
Yeah.
of mostly red doesn't reflect my version
Your
of
point is that
reality.
you don't quite accept this map.
It doesn't ring true.
Okay.
yeah.
And then the other chart that you had pulled up that had the side-by-sides, it was the terminology.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there's the passer and the TAMC, whatever that means. This was just a little weird that passer goes excellent to very good, and then good is part of fair in the TAMC, and the color coding was based on TAMC, whatever that means, and doesn't correlate with the passer, which passer
Yeah.
was told that's the evaluation of the roads. So it's just, I think there's a methodology and a vocabulary problem where some things that are being coded red are actually yellow, and some things that are being coded yellow are actually green. So the map, if the map was done that way, it presents a false impression. It makes it look worse than it really is.
Okay. All right.
It's interesting, when I did the research on how people do the rating, there's over 100 teams that go out and literally ride on the roads to make the assessment, and they have to be trained every year and make sure that there's consistency across all 100-plus groups in their assessments. And they said, basically, it's within 10% from Group A and Group B, so they're using consistent things, and this is basically the chart that they end up doing the reports through. So it's weird that something
Well,
would
yeah, but you
be,
could have a fair yellow and a fair red.
that part I understand, yeah.
I'm just pointing out the terminology
Right.
Yeah.
doesn't, if those colors were the things that were used for the chart, then it doesn't tie to the passer description or the passer rating.
We're presenting what we were given.
I understand.
Yeah.
You just might want to push back.
You made some good points, and I appreciate
Yep,
that,
okay.
because you're coming and doing that, so thank you.
That's it.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Clay.
There was just one other anecdote, I think, or comment. There's new asphalt that's being cut up on the street. The streets that have just the first layer of asphalt, they're coming in and they're cutting out pretty good swatches of asphalt to do some kind of repair. So that's creating seams
Yeah.
in the first layer. And the second layer hasn't even been put down yet. And there's a section over on Waddington that was finished last year. It was like a 3 or 4 way intersection. And there was a team there 2 or 3 weeks ago, cutting out massive pieces of asphalt and repairing it. So
Do you know why?
Is
I
it
have
the-
no, that's why I'm just reporting what I see.
I
And
think
so what I
there were
remember,
some spots that we went back and inspected, and they didn't meet the quality standard, and some of the, when they were laying the asphalt last year, some oil got spilled in, and we saw some damage and defect,
Oh.
yeah.
but right on Williamsbury, North Williamsbury,
Yeah,
there are
he's
two, at
talking
least,
about our current area, Mike is being already cut up.
Yeah, it might have, I can find out, I'll talk to Mark.
Well, I mean, this is.
well, I don't know what it means. It's just a little weird that new asphalt that's maybe a month old
Yeah.
is now getting cut up.
I'll get
which-
your
which
reason, but
creates a seam. Now
we,
it
we
creates a
hired a
seam.
contractor who actually retired from RCOC. Our eyes are on the project, and so he is just watching everything that goes on to make sure it's done to the spec.
Mm.
So I'll find out what happened there for you. So let's,
It just raises a question. I mean, the guy that was doing all the talking
Oh, yeah, but.
from the road commission at many, many, many meetings said, this is gonna be a 40-year road.
Could you hear
And
that? What's going on?
1 year later?
it's not gonna be a
Probably
40, it's not gonna be a 40.
yeah,
So we're paying big money, the $4 million per mile for roads that are already being repaired.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah,
Thank you very, very much. Appreciate you coming. You beat the crowd. They're still not here, okay. I apologize for that. Going off, I have new hearing aids, and it's tied to my phone, and I turned the phone off, but it still came through here, and you could hear it.
It's okay.
Sorry.
We're good. Aren't we? We're good.
All right.
We have to hear.
What? What was
We
that?
have to hear.
Say
What?
The doctor said you have to be later.
Pathologist, I don't know.
All right, next step then. I guess we're done with roads. Now let's talk about deer.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
Yes, please.
I don't, we got some information
We do.
from Farmington Hills, from Farmington, excuse me, or
Yeah.
whatever. And we got some other things. So I don't know how to start this, so start the conversation here, so.
you're like deer in headlights, huh?
Yeah.
So we've been receiving information from different people, and then we dug up some from the communities from Rochester Hills, Farmington Hills for you to look through,
Right.
as well as, did you get a chance to also see the presentation that they did from the
Yeah.
The DNR?
DNR?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what I think we need to do is announce that we're gonna, at a public meeting, though it's on the agenda, that we're gonna start addressing the deer issue. And who should we bring in to talk to us about it, maybe? I don't know if we wanna bring in the DNR fella again, or other members of other communities that are dealing with this to kinda walk through it with us, what they've been through and where they stand. Because we hear from some that they wanna, cull the deer, which is basically bring in sharpshooters. But we're so heavy residential, you can't have sharpshooters in neighborhoods,
Well, that's
Yeah.
what Farmington Hills just, that's what they're doing. That's what we read in
But
here.
I don't know if they're doing it in the residence area. I think they're doing it in parks and in commercial districts or in the country clubs and they'll bait them.
I just read in the report, it said that that's what they're doing.
Right,
Culling
in
their-
the neighborhood.
With professional sharpshooters,
Right.
and also, people can use bow and, I don't get. I
Yeah,
don't-
they can do it now in the township. Just gotta get your hunting license and you have to be 450 feet or something away from a
Right.
structure.
And you have the permission of the property owner to do it.
If you're going on somebody else's property.
Right.
Right.
And the problem with that is
Mm-hmm.
that if you have someone do it, I had a friend of mine did that. He let somebody go, and he found out that if he shot an arrow, missed a deer, hurt somebody, he gets sued.
Yeah.
Right.
So he said, "You're done." So
Right.
I think but I think what they're talking about is more professionally done, not
It
just
is
people going out
professionally
and
done.
doing it.
No, it is, and you hire these companies, and
Yeah.
I understand that's very expensive. And then others feel that we should use an approach where you catch the deer, and then you would sterilize them, and then release them. And you can also, there's also chemicals out there you can spray on your plants and bushes that apparently are deer repellent. Right,
Well,
it's,
I can't tell you how many chemicals we've used without long-term success.
right. Yep.
Yeah, if
Or
it
the
never
types of
rained, it'd be
plants.
good.
Or the types of plants. And then we also understand there's neighbors out there that are feeding the deer, which is
Yes.
something we need to put on our website to say, please do not feed the deer.
Yeah.
Well, there are legalities involved in that too.
Can we get an ordinance? There's a deer, no feeding ordinance?
It's a
We
state
do not
law.
have one now. Is it a state law?
Yeah, Mindy?
May I say, I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's really important, which is probably why you asked a group
Yeah.
to work on this.
Right.
To be as, I hate to use, as scientific as we can and objective as we can, because just from my casual feedback, this has become a very sensitive issue
Yeah.
where we live.
Mhm,
And I
for
mean,
sure.
strong feelings on, I don't know if there's even, you can say both sides, but
Yeah, that's right.
kind of, I don't know, are there two, it's probably more than two sides, but, you know, different opinions
Yeah.
are very strong. It seems like there are very few people that are, what would the word be, moderate about it. They seem to feel one way or another.
It's a passionate issue.
That's a better way to say.
Well,
yeah.
the thing of it is, if you want to, we have to, like, you're right, and we should do pretty much the same we did the roads, get information first. It's always the best way. But the thing of it is, in this, we have to be careful. We put in some, get some from the DNR. Well, then you have to have, there's other groups that are out there.
Yes.
I don't know who they are,
Yes.
I'm not into that. But just as passionate on another way to do things.
Absolutely.
And they have to have them speak as well. You could get into a real quagmire, so we have to figure out a way to do
Oh,
it.
I watched the Farmington Hills meeting. It went on for 3.5 hours.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
And every other comment was the other side.
Well, that was just
Well-
public comment, you mean?
But there are some things that are indisputable. One is the deer running across the road is a menace.
Yes.
Okay, so what's the solution to that? Have less of them. What's the solution to that? I think we have to go through a cascade of objectives. Just that's sort of what I got out of between Farmington and Rochester,
Yeah,
I
yes.
believe. You have to figure out how do we control the herd. There are, like someone said, you can shoot them with an arrow, you can shoot them with a bullet, you can catch them, you can do all sorts of things. What's not been tried in a lot of places, which as a pathologist, I don't understand, maybe we could give them some estrogen and they would not produce, but that doesn't reduce the number of deer that are presently there that's just gonna produce progeny. And then that's what if we start with that, then we can maybe get to offer some solutions. I mean, and the Board of Supervisors is gonna have to make a decision. But there's certain things that are indisputable, and that's that there is a rule that the state has on the books that you are not supposed to feed the deer. And if you do feed the deer, there has to be a demonstrable consequence to that, because it doesn't help them, even though we've not had any chronic wasting disease, as far as I could see from the maps from the DNR. Oakland County is pretty clean, and but and just go through a process not dissimilar to what Jeff had set up for the other.
You know, the law, the state law was pretty well defined in the presentation, in the resolution from Farmington Hills.
Yeah.
They said whereas, and they went through that feeding, about salting, about feeding.
Yeah.
If you're in a handicap, excuse me, I don't know if you're challenged, and you're in a wheelchair, for instance, you have different rules. So there are a lot of things in that law.
So
But
that's
it was
what I would-
It was well defined in the resolution.
That's what I think we could at least start with that and just build upon it, just like brick by brick.
Yes, sir.
In the Farmington Hills resolution, they referred to a couple different groups. And one was the Southeast Michigan Urban Deer Coalition. And there's more than 25 groups, communities and organizations in 7 counties. I think that would be a group we might want to hear from. So we have to Google and, identify them.
Yeah.
But I think that would be a group to have come and talk to us about what they found and what's worked and what hasn't worked. And, it doesn't mean we have to accept them, but I just want to hear, why reinvent the wheel?
Right.
And the next one dealt with the deer management plan and managing deer within suburban communities from the DNR. So I would like to hear receive what is the deer management plan? And what are they suggesting for suburban and urban communities. So I'd like to get my hands on that plan. And finally, the Southeast Michigan Council of Governments had a study dealing with perception on deer so I'd like to, that's just getting our hands on the study and making it available to review. But I think the Southeast Michigan Urban Deer Coalition is somebody that I
start
think.
with?
Yeah, I think,
Have you vetted them? Do you know who they are?
I don't.
Great.
See, I was gonna
didn't-
suggest that we need to vet the group that we wanna invite. You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah,
That-
well,
that's
okay,
a
so-
good
So
idea.
that's, I mean, if you want, I can look at it and, send you a note, but,
So, yeah, no, I think there's a lot of, I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, go
But
ahead.
I think, I don't mean to, Dr. Sarian, I hold you in very high regard and you know that. But I just want to say that so the people thinking that there are too many deer and there are not everyone agrees with that.
Well,
I'm just saying.
I
So-
agree, I
So if we
totally
don't-
understand that.
I know you do. So but we have to really be on by. Have you heard from both sides of this issue or more? Okay, I would think you had. Okay. I'm just saying, we don't want to
Well,
be
public
biased.
comment
Yeah.
at the end, okay? We'll get to you.
Some information you might
Okay,
Yeah, great.
so,
One of my thoughts, just from the standpoint of, coming up with a solution is one thing. Does it make sense, though, once you have a solution that we think is going to work, do you let the township citizens vote on it? Sort of releases everybody from the obligation of, you're the Bambi killer type of thing. And see what the residents have a position on.
well, that would be a position that the Board of Trustees would have to weigh in on if we come up with solutions, report to them, say, here's what we think.
Yeah.
Then they would take over and say, and then they could make a motion, or somebody there could say, yeah, you're right, we need to have a referendum on this.
Right.
Or they could say, no, we're the Board of Trustees, you elected us, it's a republic, not a pure democracy, it's a republic, and so we represent, so we're gonna vote. I mean, they could do that, that's up to them, that wouldn't be up to us.
No,
I don't
I'm
think.
not suggesting it would be up to us, it's just
Yeah.
up to us, I think,
Make a
to make a recommendation that here are the two different directions you can go. You can
So
do
we
it by
could
edict,
recommend it a
you can
referendum.
do it by
Okay,
edict,
got
or
it.
you can do it by referendum.
give them options.
Yeah.
We could recommend one way, yeah, okay, got it.
One other thing is that this group is wearing two hats. And so we might want to call it the the road/deer advisory committee, so that when we post, here's the agenda, you just look at the heading. The road advisory committee, you wouldn't think that we're talking about deer. So we're not stealth, we're not hiding, we're not trying to do this under the cover of dark. So I think that we may want to change the name of this group to include the word deer, so that the public knows that it's formed, we're working on it, and that they can weigh in if they wish, regardless of the position.
In
I
a
brought
different mission
this up the
statement.
last time, at the last meeting, and I likened it to what the planning commission does with the wetlands board. Okay, the planning commission becomes the wetlands board when something comes up. However, it has its own agenda,
Uh-huh.
it's publicly noticed separately,
Okay,
and they're two separate, even though they're the same people, they're two separate categories. And in my opinion, one vote out of all of us, I think that's what should be done. It should be the road advisory committee, and I guess deer advisory, I don't know, what do you want to call it? But each one have its own agenda,
great. I
and
just,
then separate it out like that. That's what I think.
that's great, and I like that. I just want the public to know and be fully informed, because that's what we want, and I want them to be able to know that.
Okay. What I think we should do then is, again, pretty much follow the same tack that we did before with the roads, is that we should start having people come in, and only one at a time. In other words, we get one side in one meeting, okay? The DNR, I don't know what side they're, I don't know, but let's just say that's one side. Then a group, like you suggest, that may have a different viewpoint, have them come in and speak to us, and then another group maybe. And then the public comment, well, anybody can say whatever they want, but presentation-wise, it should be somebody, and we need to vet the group. I really believe that. You can't just call somebody in, because it could be, I'm not saying they are, I have no idea, but you call someone and say you want to, and they could be a bunch of crackpots. I don't know. You know, so we need to make sure they're a legitimate,
Yeah, I just,
representing
I looked at the resolution and the name looked like somebody we might want to hear from.
Right.
But I have not followed up and Googled.
But it's
them.
good to be cautious,
you're not kidding. Yeah.
because you actually, you
But trust
can't,
but
you can't go
verify.
backwards.
No, right.
So, Mike, do you want one of us to, I can look at that and try to, I can send you,
Yeah, send it over to Sue. I think we know about them, but send what you have and let us reach out to them.
okay. So
And I
I'll,
think we've read
just,
about them, there's a lot of communities here that are part of that.
And then
coalition.
there's the Michigan Sportsmen Against Hunger Program, which I think is a pretty universal, I don't know if that's Ted Nugent's thing or not, but it's, you see it come up in a few so it might be good if we could have them, or, just.
Okay.
Well, you want to hear
See what
from
they
all
have
the
to
points, you want to hear from all of them.
Yeah,
But not
exactly.
crackpots, though, or not.
Well, these aren't
Well,
crackpots.
we're gonna get them.
The DNR,
Well, no, that would be
DNR,
public comment.
Yeah, we'll
But
get
I mean, if we invite somebody.
they work with the DNR, so
Okay.
that stands some kind of normalcy. I
Good.
don't know what
Well,
that is.
all right, then we need to do that, all right. So that would be the next step, is to get
Okay,
these groups to come in.
okay.
Same thing. And then we'll start there, and then, now, public comment. Oh, is that okay? We done? Can I ask for public comment?
I'll look at those.
Okay.
And, get some more details, some meat as to what they are,
Okay.
and send that to Sue.
Okay. Yes, sir. Need name and address, please.
Michael Woro, 5355 Provincial Drive in the Township. It disturbs me that the information presented to you from the DNR, in my mind, was misleading. And here's why. And I'm an engineer, so I get to quantify everything. You want to have an idea of what the growth rate of the deer are. Their graph was totally misleading. If I can use an imagination here, vertical and horizontal axis, they had it going up from 0 at a constant rate, and then leveled off into, call it a sinusoidal curve, ups and downs. That's completely misleading. It doesn't start out at a strong rate. It's like, I'm a nuclear baby where you get under the desk when the bombs start falling. You saw the advertisements where they have the mouse trap with 2 ping pong balls set up, hundreds of them, and you throw one on there and just.
Can
have
you
an
talk into
explosion.
that microphone to your right?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
You have an explosion. Well, the other way is a nuclear power plant where you control it. You keep the count down of the hits. The deer are the same way. You start out small, very small. It's a 0 graph at the start, not inclined. That's extremely important. How wide that 0 graph is, or close to 0, allows you to control the population effectively. Then when you get into too much growth, that's when it takes off. So there's an area where you can keep it down and under control. It's not a black and white thing, you just keep it low. So that's why I wanted to make sure that you understood that their graph didn't show that. It showed the opposite. The other thing is, I'm a homeowner looking to redo my landscaping. When I came a meeting or two ago, I talked about how my arborvitae were now hourglass shaped, where the deer had eaten as high up and as down low as they could go. And I'm reconsidering whether I want to do my rear lot line at all. In light of the deer, what's the point? So do you want to live in a grass-only township, or do you want some landscaping? Another point, for these Bambi lovers, fine, you want to let the deer roam free, then let the predators roam free. I know you're not going to like that. We don't want coyote and mountain lions or whatever that kills the deer. I mean, if you're going to let one species survive, then let them all survive. Otherwise, you control it. You're in a new environment with man occupying the land, not just animals.
We have coyote and fox right now.
Yeah.
Let him finish
I'm sorry, I apologize.
let him finish his
I
comment.
thought-
Then we can,
I thought he.
Right.
oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm kind of done. I'd like a conversation, not a presentation. I'd like to be on the group that's studying this, because I'm very emotional about it. It's a waste of my time to put plantings out there. I'm redoing my house, the deck, the siding, the windows. I'd like to do the landscaping, but I'm not gonna touch it if we're gonna have deer out there.
Okay.
You know, I bought 8 of these zero deer ultrasound and strobe light. They seem to be effective, but I can't guarantee that
Okay,
long term.
thank you very much.
Thank
Okay, so
you.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I'd
No,
like to let
I-
some public comment go play out and then, answer it.
I apologize, sir, if I stepped on your toes. Yeah. I guess my comment was, I have seen fox and coyote in my backyard.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not a daily thing, but they're there. There's no question.
There's a few of them.
Yeah.
Not like the
Okay.
deer. Deer used to be almost every day.
All right, so we have there's nobody else here, no other public comment, so we'll close that portion up. Nobody else here, unless you want to talk about the deer as well. Okay. Okay, that's another point of view, isn't it?
It is another
It's
point of view.
another point of view I could care
And
less.
that should not go unnoticed. Thank you, Mr. Phillips.
Deer people, I want the deer
We
people on
appreciate
the
Okay.
right, and we want the road people on the left.
There you go, there you go.
All right, so then we have a plan to start, right? We're gonna start inviting some groups to, and some that will refute the previous, that's good, that's how we'll work. And
Yeah.
then get plenty of public comment in the middle,
Well, this will be a contentious subject. Because people are all over the map, and the consequences of this particular problem hits everybody a little differently. So that's, unlike the roads that hit everybody the same, this is like, well, do I care about the deer? I could care
They
less.
come together.
And I happen to be, a person who's had made some kind of a salad out of my hostas, but, and I fought back and I actually won, so.
Well, we have
but
to
it-
kind of go in with an open mind, right?
Exactly, well,
Not
that's the
look-
point.
Not appear to be biased.
But obviously, we're not the only people who've come across this crossroad.
Yeah.
And that was the nice thing about Susan's list of different locale. The DNR itself, the Indian tribes, everybody recognizes that the deer population is X, Y, or Z. And there are different ways to address it, and I think we're obligated to look at the different ways to address it.
Yeah.
And at least, come up with acknowledge that it is an issue, and the solution to the issue is X, Y, and Z. And then other people who actually who run for offices can decide what they want to do.
Early on, one of our very first steps on the road group was to prepare a mission statement. And maybe we should, maybe you could fine tune that, but we should
Certainly
create.
can, next meeting, we can
We
have that on the
should create
agenda.
a mission statement.
We could do that,
Well, I'll send you a draft.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll send you a draft of a mission statement.
okay?
And then at least you could just say whether it's kind of silly or not.
Mark it up.
Gonna keep him on permanent.
you-
He needs a raise.
Mr. McCready only picks the best people.
I
We know
can
that.
see that.
No, I thank you all for volunteering, because these are difficult subjects that we have to work through.
This is harder than the roads,
Yeah.
because it's more
Yeah, you're
emotional.
right. It's gonna
The
be
roads
very
people are
Two
just.
sides.
Yeah,
There is
they're
some
Mindy,
sides
go ahead.
to roads.
I just want to, two
Who's
other
gonna pay
quick,
for it?
Hold on, guy,
two
people,
other quick comments, just if people, this is not, I don't have a sign on the front door saying, please see me about deer. I haven't said this, okay, but people are interested, right? So, and you may have received something, one of our neighbors did significant research nationally on addressing an issue like this and came up with a long-term strategy of plantings. I don't know if you received this, the type of vegetation, what the implications are for red oak when they're planted. I don't know. Anyway, that's one. Two, another person approached me. She was doing some landscaping next door, and she has been thinking about developing a business in the state of Michigan to anesthetize and relocate deer. She's gone so far as to investigate it to say many of the deer don't survive. Now, this is anecdotal, when you transport them. I'm just making that, all that aside, that could be all wrong. I'm not validating, this is in the last 3 weeks, and I am not home all the time. So I'm just saying
Yeah.
the level of commentary is very high from my experience.
Hopefully, the groups that we bring in to do presentations will have some of that information available, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I'd like to hear.
Yeah, because we have heard about.
Have you
some-
heard about some of this?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Right, the only other thing I wanted to bring up is, we have several people that have volunteered to be alternates, I guess you want to call
Yes.
them.
Oh.
And I had conversation with Lynn,
Okay.
one, and she wanted to know about what the commitment was to this. So maybe we could just, are we going to be doing this meeting like every other week, the same as we did with roads? Or how are we going
Well,
to,
that's
can we
a-
do Zoom, for
That's
instance?
a very good question. No, I don't think, because we're a authorized body of trustees, which means we're open public, so we can't do Zoom. It was authorized through
Really?
COVID,
Oh, I didn't know that,
I
okay.
believe, but I can double check.
Okay.
But yes, and then we have another gentleman that would like, he said, like.
Yeah, he just said he would like to be a part of this.
So maybe what we do, and just an idea, I was just thinking off the top of my head, once a month, because we meet every other week.
Every other week.
Maybe once a month, we deal with the road issue, and then the next meeting, we deal with the deer issue. Or we do half the meeting, we figure an hour, we want to keep these meetings an hour.
And we're pretty good now.
Yeah, and we dedicate half of the meeting and the other half to the other issue. I'm just throwing ideas out there, but,
Well, one of the things at the beginning, we spoke, when you asked me about this, and I said, I didn't like the idea,
Right,
okay? Well,
yeah.
to be open and honest, because I didn't want to dilute the road portion of this by having something else. However, if we make a commitment that we're still gonna meet on roads every other week,
okay,
and concentrate on that, but
Okay.
also every other week, like you said, devote part of the hour
Mm-hmm.
to deer. I don't think it's gonna dilute either one. As long as it's a firm commitment that we're gonna look at each on a regular basis, and not now all of a sudden go once a month, which is,
So the-
that dilutes it.
Well, I think we can be flexible, that if we really there's a lot that's coming our way on roads,
yes,
then the next two meeting are roads.
right.
And then we flip and spend time on deer.
Okay.
I mean, so I like let's try it, mixed, moving forward. But if one is a very time-intensive discussion or presentation, then that takes the whole meeting.
Right.
Well, I just don't want people to get the idea that one or the other is more important.
Right.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because, for instance, he could say, well, I want to talk about roads, I don't want to talk about deer. And he could say, I want to talk about deer, I don't want to talk about road. And I don't want either one of them to think that we're saying the other guy is more important.
No.
It's not. We've made this commitment, and so we have to do the best we can.
Yeah.
I think, Sue, did you have a comment from the?
My only thought on that is when we started the road advisory committee, we had speakers come in. Some of those meetings ran over. So my only thought is if we do
I don't
half
think
for
we can-
road and
yeah.
half for deer, we may run into a problem.
I'm not in
Well-
favor of tandemizing.
Yeah.
I think you're spot on with, the road should stay the roads and the deer should stay the deer. Just because of that, and then, yeah, exactly. Because the roads are gonna become more bizarre when we find out the budget numbers.
Well, there's a
And they're gonna
time-
have to noodle through all that.
Yeah, there's a time sensitivity, as we talked about 30 minutes ago, and a huge expenditure,
Yeah.
but if we can,
And then the deer thing is a whole different thing. I mean, we don't even monetize that, and it's gonna be contentious.
Well,
Right.
but as far as the time thing,
yeah, yes.
okay, that could be put off too, you know. I mean, it doesn't have to, just because they're going through the process now, and they get to do the petitions, then they have hearings. I mean, it takes a while, but it also can be said to delay it for 6 months, to see what happens here before they move on, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to, a rigid timeline for
Well,
that.
that would be, okay,
I know they can, because there is no timeline.
it's up to Mr. McCready.
Well, I think we make a collective decision here. And what I'm thinking is maybe, let's say, what if we took it in every 2 or 3 months or a quarter? We have 4 quarters in a year, and we devote 2 of the meetings to the deer and the rest of the meetings to the roads.
Okay, what I was referring to is the SAD, the SAD.
Okay.
Just because you're in the process, doesn't mean and you even get through the process and you get the petitions,
Okay.
it doesn't mean you have to, boom, you've got to move ahead now.
Right.
You can put that off.
Okay.
You can hold it off. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Now, make it more expensive.
Well, and I'd like to talk about SADs at some point with all of us to decide if it's something the township should consider getting into versus just letting it go to the county. And that, I think that's worth a few discussions.
Yes, that's,
Well-
the county, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well,
You
the
go ahead.
process is, and there's an ongoing process for the last section in the village, very tenacious HOA, trying to garner enough signatures to then begin construction again next year
Right.
at an increased rate that exceeds what we're paying now. That is the plan. That's not a rumor, that's not innuendo. So more than what we're paying now will be the plan for the last section of the village.
Okay, but even if that's done and they all approve it,
Yeah,
it's got to go to the
Yes.
Board of Trustees.
Ah.
The Board of Trustees approve, and they could say, no, you know what? We want to see what the budget's going to look like. We want to see, so we're going to put this off for 6 months. They could do that, because you're the ones that approve it. Just because
Right.
the group,
I agree.
signs off on it, you're the ones that approve it.
Right, we do approve it, and what I'm talking about is that the township doesn't need to be involved with these SADs, because these are county-owned roads. The SADs can go directly to the county, and they take on the debt, and they take on all the work. We stay out of it.
Except the interest rate's higher, number one, and I think the time is
10 years.
less, is that correct?
10 years.
Because they go to straight, if I'm not mistaken, it's a straight 6%, regardless.
For 10 years.
And the township goes a point above prime, is that right? And right now, prime is 3%, 4%. It's cheaper and more efficient. It's better to go through the township. Now, as far as debt's concerned, if you take on debt, but it's paid off, how does that hurt? Does that hurt your credit rating?
Well,
But it's being paid off religiously.
Well, debt is still measured by S&P when they give you your credit rating, and there is a revenue source. But we've taken on $43 million worth of debt right now for SADs. We're just at the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, but the revenue source is there.
The revenue source is there, but they still look at debt.
Okay. All right, I don't,
Should we hear from the auditor or the township auditor, which talks about that, or the finance director?
I think that would be a great conversation to have.
Especially if there's a chance to create some slight relief for historic, we're currently in the process, right?
Right.
see, debt is not a death sentence. As long as you pay it off, and you have the means to pay it off. I mean, look, in your family, you have a mortgage, and maybe you have 2 cars that are leased, but you pay them off, so your credit rating's fine.
Well-
Hey, you wanna buy another car, and you got another credit rating, it's good, and you're paying it off, it's not a death sentence, in other words. So taking on more debt, I don't think is a horrible thing.
I think it would help to hear, no disrespect.
No.
I'd like to hear from
Right.
the auditor slash
Yeah.
finance director. I mean,
Right.
I'll let you sort that out, but
Okay.
what's the implication, what's the consequence?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's a ding to the township, maybe we shouldn't.
Yeah.
And that's a financial thing that they have to tell us.
Right.
Right. I think we had to have some more public comment. I think
Well,
that
you know what, we still have a couple of minutes, so quickly, I saw your hand, go ahead.
Can you go up on the microphone again?
Do it
Just
like in 1 minute.
Introduce yourself, yeah.
Because we were at 5:30, we
Clay
tried to
Phillips,
keep it around.
247 North. Point of fact and memory, I reached out to the clerk's office a month ago or a couple weeks ago, asking for, had the interest rate been set, because they've been told, I think, in August, they were gonna set it in September or sometime. Said, yes, it was set. I had to ask for a new schedule for the 15 years. My question to her was, is this gonna be widely disseminated to everybody in the village? Answer was no. There was no intent originally when the estimate was provided, based on last year's rate, we all got a hard copy mailing of this is your expected 15-year schedule. But now that has not been done for the new rate, and the rate did go down, like it's 4.18 or something like
Right,
that.
that's right.
But just so like communication wasn't quite clear on why,
Yeah, I don't know why we.
why there isn't communication out to all the
We should be
residents.
sharing
It
that.
should be out, it should be open to the public, published on the
Absolutely.
website.
Yeah,
Well, I just said, we got the estimate,
all right. We'll look
In the
into that.
spring.
We'll look into find out.
but
We should be sharing it with
the
all
real
the
data
residents.
isn't coming up.
Absolutely.
Second thing, just my opinion, deer don't have anything to do with the roads. It sounds like you got into it because it's a safety issue on the roads. My recommendation and request would be that the road commission stays focused on road quality, road funding, and the problem at hand. And if, deer is a safety issue on roads, I get that, but I think I would agree with one or two of the members here that these are two issues that have a very, very small overlap.
And that's the reason I thought we should separate it into separate
Could be different people.
committees, but
Different
same
people.
people on the committee,
Well,
same
why?
people.
Why? It could be different people. So just,
Okay.
thanks for your time.
All right, now, sorry, go ahead. Then we're gonna adjourn, we're done.
So I said I was an engineer, but what I should have said is I'm a professional engineer with a civil focus based on my education and work experience, Hubbell, Roth, and Clark up the road here. You may be familiar with them.
Yes.
But it occurs to me, beyond the deer issue is the street issue that you've brought up. So it strikes me as an engineer that doesn't have any control over the roadways or anything like that, that we expend too much on ripping up roads that are 90% good and 10% bad. And there needs to be more focus on what you've done in my subdivision on rare occasions, which is bring in hot asphalt and level it out. You could do that with most of the roads in the township and not have to repave and go through all that expense. Coal patch is worthless. So do some hot patch, level it out, you'll have much happier residents. There was something else I was gonna say, probably about the landscaping, but
Save it for next time, okay? All right, thank you.
appreciate your time.
Thanks for coming, thanks for coming, participating. Okay, are we done?
I move to adjourn.
Moved and seconded to adjourn? We are adjourned. Thank you all very much.